We are in St. Petersburg, Florida. We are in Allandale. This is a great part of town. In the late land booms of the 1920s, a lot of these beautiful houses were made, and this one was owned by a collector, and they are having an estate sale. I'm here with my cousin Carl, and he's admiring the house. It's pretty cool. Let's show you. The old Spanish trail architecture that became really popular in the south and southwest around this time. Wonder if this is for sale. You're doing an estate sale. These signs are good to put up. I put up very similar. Okay, Carl and I are in, and what a great old house this is. And look at all the neat stuff. This place is jam full. We're starting to see Jocelyn, a crazy lamp lady, was buying settings of these at the thrift store when we were there. I avoided them in the past because there didn't used to be a customer. There is now. There's actually a lot of Asian art and artifacts right in the front here, and a cute little cabinet. These people were pretty serious collectors, apparently. So that's why we picked this house, and there's going to be some fun things. This little runner is nice, 1930s or 40s. That's just a small thing, easy to take. I think I will. This is Fami Rose, and it looks like it's a nice old piece, but it's had a repair and a big crack, so we're going to leave that. This is cute because it's an old table, 1880s or 90s, and it's got the little checkerboard in the top of it. Very handsome Empire-style table with the marble top. A big Majolica Jardiniere. This is a pretty cool sale. There is going to be a lot of stuff here. This needs a little bit of reupholstery. They're offering it for free, which is amazing because it's actually got bones of being a very nice set, and there's the side chair. These are 1920s or so. Look at the Asian bar with the hardstone inlays. It's funny because the pictures of this house didn't really specifically mention Asian, and yet there's quite a bit here. Here's a nice marble top table, 1890s, and we have these Spelter figures that are painted to look like bronze. She's kind of cute with the lyre, and this one is a reader. Gosh, I find that one kind of appealing. We might take that. 1890s glass, an old clock. This definitely has a lot of traditional old things, but I think we're going to find a lot of other stuff as we go through. Girandole set, you just have the candles. There isn't the centerpiece, but that's nice. But you notice the prisms are different on one from another. And that's because they had to replace one set at one time. Nice bronze vase here, but a little damaged at the top. Someone bought all of the green glass that glows under a black light, which is understandable. These are fun. I think these are going to be 1980s. Japanese. Interesting shapes. Pattern glass pitcher there. All right. These actually sell. This is part of the raffia ware line by Thermotemp. The mugs usually have raffia in them. 1960s, we have some Melmac, the old Apple little refrigerator dish. These people obviously were serious collectors, and I'm sure they used their stuff. A bunch of keys in there. This has nice figuring. This is a nice walnut burl with the matched graining on the bottom, but not the easiest form to sell. A bunch of little crocks up there, and I'm going to look at the ones in the back because at this point we're not the first people in the house, so we got to look and see stuff that is way up high that maybe people haven't noticed. It's nice that I'm tall sometimes. For my taste, I really like this 1950s little bamboo set here. It's a really good size for a small table, breakfast table, or a little work table. I have to admit I'm tempted. I don't really have room for it right now. This is a newer shade on what looks to be an original old lamp base here. Look at the patina. This is 1920s. That's actually kind of tempting because I think the base is really the attraction rather than the shade. A little bit of costume jewelry here. We'll see if there's anything left that's interesting. Again, we're not the first ones in, so I'm not necessarily expecting to find amazing, wonderful things, but you also never know. Sometimes people are in such a hurry that they miss stuff. I have often found good things later in an estate sale, and this has only been open for about 30 or 40 minutes. This is a big house, so they let a lot of people in. That one has a name of some sort. That's one of those enamel floral pins that I like, and it's got a nice rhinestone. I think we'll take that. Feathers sell sometimes. Fake turquoise. And then while we're looking at that, we're ignoring this piece of furniture. It's on that this piece of furniture is very nice. English with the black splash and the beveled mirror. This is from the 1890s. Nice marble top. Again, a lot of this is misplaced in Florida unless you live in a neighborhood like this, and then it actually works in these houses. Here we go, something I really like. A whole case of silhouettes. And I am going to take a look at those. If you pick well, they'll still sell. I also see some linens in here I think are kind of interesting. We'll see what these are. I see a face on this one. That could be something. So we'll spend a minute here. Curved glass is going to be more interesting. Let's see if they have, that one doesn't have a price, but that's okay. They said to bring things up. Now it's the quarters, and that's a more typical thing, but condition is the main thing. This one's got some problems, you can see.
Hi, George.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you having fun? I'm working on it. Have you found anything, or are you working?
I'm helping them.
Oh, you're helping them. Oh, that's great.
Paul and Linda are helping them.
Oh, that's
It's
neat.
a family, but I think they're 15 across the board, but Kim with them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. Okay, I like this one because of the fence. Now that she's given me an idea about prices, I'm going to look mainly at the bigger ones. The striped copper borders seem to sell better, so we're going to do that too. I found some World's Fair stuff. I'm going to just make a pile and we'll see how we do. Let's see what else we've got down here. Yeah, here's another copper border. And it's a little different seam, but there's a little blemish there. I'm really picky on condition because these are cute and they're fun and they sell a little bit, but they don't sell so fast that you want to just grab everyone in sight. You really want to be particular about them. The Eastern's prayer, I pray the prayer of the Easterns to you, may the peace of Allah abide with you, wherever you stay, wherever you go, may the beautiful palms of Allah grow. Through the days of labor and nights of rest, may the love of sweet Allah make you blessed. So I touch my heart as the Easterns do, may the peace of Allah abide with you. A lot of interest in more design and culture back in the 1920s and 30s when these were being made, and that's in nice shape. And palm trees, it definitely looks like a Florida thing. I think we'll put that in our pile. These with the plain background are not as interesting to me. These folks are up in the mountains, and I'm going to where people live in the mountains, and that is going to make that a little more appealing. I think we'll put that one aside. This one is a little more intricate with the cross hatching. So that's a possibility. The floral display just has one little section. And kids with donkey, that's actually kind of cute. But again, you have to be careful of condition. There's a stain there. And then I look for nautical. And that's definitely nautical with the pirate flag. That's a good Florida look. And I'm looking for Western because I'm headed out west. This one is in poor shape. That's too bad because the war bonnet on the rider is really good. This one's a little stained up in the corner, unfortunately.
That's the kitchen now.
So I think I have found the ones I want. Nice old drop front desk. This looks like one of the Larkin soap desks, where you would actually save up soap labels and then trade them plus money for furniture. From the Larkin Soap Company in Buffalo, New York. These are copper luster. The blue is interesting, but they have maker marks on the bottom, and that makes them 20th century. There are some 19th century as well. I like this little one. Sometimes I think the miniatures actually do better. I like the nurse's little cap with the red cross, but it's pretty foxed, unfortunately. I don't know whether this Santa Claus head is still for sale. I know this furniture is taped like it's off limits. And I don't want to get into somebody's thing that they don't want, but that is awfully cute. It's also a little damaged. I'm going to assume it belongs to somebody else. I was really hot for merchandise. Of course, I would take it up and say, is this sold? But to be honest with you, I've been buying a lot the last few days. Here is the kitchen. I like the red, white, and black striped bowl. This striped bowl is neat because of the colors. I see some Riviera china. The squarish dishes here are from the 1930s, same company that did Fiesta, of course, Homer Laughlin. Neat shapes. I love square dishes, so I'm going to take a closer look. There is still a customer for this, and it's funny because, again, people are here for other things, so we're going to take a look and see, but I think some of these serving pieces could be worth our while. This one's got a crack. The pitcher with the lid, if it's clean, would be a good piece, especially because you wouldn't have to collect this whole pattern to like this particular individual piece. And I don't see chips on the spout. That's too bad. I'm sure this stuff was used, but definitely these colors fit this kind of a house back when this was made. It's that patio living look. The teapot is cute, and it did not get used hard. But again, a couple little chips on the spout. I am very particular about condition because the collectors of these are too. See, they have it priced as a set for $250. Well, I guess I'll quit going through the individual pieces. That's probably not a bad price considering how many pieces there are, but I don't need all of it, and I don't have room for all of it. Chromolith advertising, to school well fed on grape nuts. I wonder if this is original. It looks to me like it's probably a reproduction because you can see the way there's a little bit of a ghost around the letters, and that tells me that they copied this off of an original. Another good 19th century platter. This is going to be a version of willow pattern. Obviously not just blue, it's got Imari colors from Japan, but it's got a big crack as well. Here's something everyone's overlooking. I got $35 for the orange one of these I sold. If this works and we can find the attachments, and if it'll clean up, the green probably is worth $25 at least. 1963, this was a very radical new design. I definitely like the Asian design. There's quite a bit of it here. 1910s with this scenic look in the Nippon teens or 20s. And that round handle, a bag of junk jewelry. Ah, Lucy. This is a reverse painted painting from the 1910s in the convex frame. This is on the Danube. Shortly thereafter, we were at war with Germany and Austria, and then you see Versailles and patriotic themes in these. Ancestress portrait. I just got a nice little marble top table like this, otherwise I'd be interested in that. Frame cloth and an old frame here. So this is the sunroom originally. Alan of Allandale, which is this neighborhood, insisted on having past the sunroom, the first rooms you would come to were the dining room and the kitchen because that was the center of home life, and all of the houses built in this time would have been set up exactly the same way at his insistence. I got two of these or else I'd buy this because they're really handy and people really like these hanging displays. I hate to admit it, but this one probably would look better painted white. Neat looking old painting, but not in good condition. This is a cute landscape. I don't think this one is as important, but it's got a great frame. And it seems to be a pleasant scene, not super painterly when you look at the details, and this one is not signed, but the frame is really good. And the frame might be enough to sell it. You can tell it has some age. It's on board. It says Academy board, and you can tell from that label this is going to be from about the 1890s, but the frame was a pretty good clue as well. It's another nice old frame. A lot of savvy dealers take these and put mirrors in them because mirrors are easier to sell than unknown paintings by unlisted artists.
What is that other than Don Quixote?
Is that supposed to be Don Quixote? I was thinking Sir Galahad.
Oh, maybe so.
It's just a neat 1910s arts and crafts era print.
Crafts, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little cartouche in the bottom with the printer's name. I don't think it's anything important. It's just neat looking, and it definitely matches the era of the house.
I have one.
Oh, that is really cool.
That one. That one. It's just a bunch of women.
Yeah, it's just a landscape, but the frame is great. Oh yeah, I really like the frame. That's cool.
And I got my mug.
Awesome. See a Parrish print behind here. People are finding some neat things. This is a damaged Parrish print, but she's just beautiful. Very neat grandfather clock here. This one is an English piece. American would be worth more. It's missing its finial, but this is a rather nice old one with the painting of the shepherd. It says Blakesborough Ripon cabinet. This is going to be 1840s, I would say, just looking at the way it's made, and there's the weight. Underneath everything is a really cool modernist lucite table that no one is seeing, so I'm going to see what that's going to cost. Oh, those are great little socket cups. Yeah, there's definitely that, but this one's really good, I think. How much do they charge you?
$5 for the pair.
Oh my gosh, I think that's really great, the way this is all painted out. Those are cool.
There's more up there.
Wow, yeah, I think you did really well. I'm loving this house, though. Yeah, it's a great house. Well, this is just a screen print, but it's nice, and I don't think it's going to cost much because they're making bundles. There was so much in here, and I think they got this sale very late, so they didn't do a lot of pricing. There's the stuff people are walking right by and not noticing because of how it's displayed. This is a nice quilt on here, and it's got a little ink stain, but I like it's sort of a maple leaf pattern. If the overall condition is good, I would be interested. Now I see a little staining here. It's really going to depend on the price. A little bit of fading as well. Now some people say, well, Asian art and design is just so specific. Hakata dolls are not the easiest thing to sell yet, but these cork seams are starting to sell pretty well. I might amass a little pile of these. Bunch of Corel. And then there's this. Chinese, but really nicely carved. It's a plant stand. This could fit into a lot of different decor. So if you're not a fan of Asian design per se, don't just pass by sales like this thinking, oh, it's very specific to a design that's not my design, because you might be surprised how certain pieces will really work in a decor in a way you wouldn't imagine otherwise. This is a really nice Cloisonne lamp. The yellow is based on the imperial yellow color, which in the old days only the royal family could have, and you would be killed if you had a piece or made a piece for someone else. If it didn't have this dent, I'd be tempted. This is a 1920s lamp. So let's take a look at these cork seams. They have some good detail. These have pandas. This has the birds, the cranes. I like this one because it's rather small, and it also has the cranes and seems to be in good shape. I'm not so fond of the way these are made. They sort of cheaped out on the beak, so I think I'll leave the big one. This one's got nice detail. The amount of detail it took to make these is incredible, and this one is really rather well done. And I think this one might be the buy of all of them. I think this will be more appreciated out west where I'm going. Mudmen also sell well out west, and this one's been up so high that I don't think anyone really noticed it. So we're going to look at their hair, and he's got a broken point right there, so we're going to leave him. You got to look closely at these to make sure they're all there. That would have been a pretty good one otherwise, though, because it's two figures and they're doing stuff. Yeah. Carl's been upstairs. I haven't even gotten there yet.
This, he just threw it on.
Yeah, but the base is good. I was noticing that.
$60.
Oh, if you like it, yeah.
They throw in the lamp.
And take the shade, I mean, because it's there. Yeah, would you use this in your house?
Yeah.
I looked at this and I thought it was really cool, and I think that's a good price. I think the base is really cool, and it's old. And I don't hate the shade, at least it's a stained glass. Another thing being overlooked, unfortunately, it's got a crack, is this modernist table that's sitting in the room of otherwise not modernist furniture. Here's a neat Bohemian glass piece with the etched work cut back. and it's some sort of, I guess, a candy jar. It looks like it's probably 1950s or 60s. It's not wildly old, but it's definitely got the traditional look. While I walk around in the back of this wonderful old house, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Please click thumbs up to let people know you like this video. It really does help us with YouTube a lot. Also, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe, because then you can ring that bell to be notified of future videos. And we also have various membership packages, and you can check out memberships by going to the memberships link in the bottom of any description under the dash line of any video. There's not a lot out here, but one thing I like to show are these. These are hexagons. This is how they used to pave all of the sidewalks in St. Petersburg, and the hexagon actually still is part of the city logo. In the 1950s, they tore up a lot of the hexagon pavers because women started wearing stiletto heels and they would get caught in the cracks. That's a neat concrete heron, but unfortunately in bad condition. Yeah, I don't see anything out here I really can use. But I have learned at estate sales, especially with old houses, go all the way around, because you never know what might be on the other side. And in this case, it's a trailer and the garbage cans and the staff workers' cars. So I guess we're gonna just keep on going back into the house. Look at the neat texturing of the house in the chimney here as well. These houses were quite fine when they were built. At one time, the entire neighborhood was populated with this style of house, as you can see across the street as well. This lamp with the elders with this kind of a base, 1930s or 40s. And that's actually very, very heavily designed. And then we're gonna take a look at this, because this is a little Japanese block print. And it's got hand-painted embellishment. It was just done as a postcard, but we're starting to see the prices on these go up, and I'll bet this is only going to cost $1 or $2. The tile floor in here too. It's just fun to see this house. You could easily get another gold leaf piece and have the right set on those with the caddy. The caddy's really where the value is. That kind of has a neat look. Let's see what other art they've got here. This one's Greek. Hey, I see the Acropolis, and then is that supposed to be Adam and Eve, or do Greek people just not dress?
That's Adam and Eve for sure.
Yes, the minstrel painting is kind of interesting. Some of these are quite old. I have one that's from the 1790s. It's a little damaged, unfortunately, but it does have a certificate of authenticity that says it's an original watercolor, and they spent some money on it at one point. All right, we've got another stack here. This has an interesting look, very 50s with that burlap frame. Linens. Well, I'm not necessarily looking for linens, but I'll certainly look at a few things. Square made like a crazy quilt. Definitely an older backing and silk, and it's not the weighted silk because it's not falling apart. That's nice. Pillow covers. They're fun as display. They don't sell terrifically well. It's Yellowstone Park. I get them if they're military related. Here's another Moroccan looking piece. I do have customers for these. They have just enough color and style, and I bet that's going to be cheap. A lot of just sort of general embroidery. Here's another one of these. I'd like to find a bigger one that was like a piano shawl with a nice design. They're fun because they're more colorful on one side. That's the unfinished side. Yeah, this is a big runner, but the warrior motif I don't think is going to be a hit with my customers. That's just kind of got a fun look. Nice tablecloth. I mean, there's some decent pieces in there. All right, we're going to spin around here and go upstairs because I haven't seen it yet. Here we go. A lot more prints. Blueprinting, New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Let me see
Some hard stone here. This definitely sells out west, but these are pretty ordinary pieces, and I see some damage. There's a whole master bedroom up here full of stuff. Little nesting tables are always useful, but there's only 2. I would like to have a bigger set, maybe 3. Christian Dior tie. Old school polyester. That's really an old school polyester there. That one's got a neat pattern. Maybe I'll start wearing ties at shows again. They're just fun. I know people don't really wear ties much anymore. This one's a Looney Tunes. 1996. That one might sell just because of what it is, but it's got a stain, and yeah, once ties get stained, they're pretty hard to unstain. I'd really love to find some cool 60s era or something hand painted, but that might be a bit much to expect. These seem like they're of a later era. George Limited Tampa, that was a local clothing store. I should get that just because it's my name, but I would never wear it. This is an 80s deco revival. Oleg Cassini. Well, see, that's designer. I mean, that's definitely something to consider, and it feels like it's a better material. Original Beatles stuff is a yes. This 2008 piece is a no. When you start getting into this area, you're really looking at people just having nostalgia. This isn't anything to do with the band when they were a band, and that to me is not interesting. I've just gotten some cloisonne, so I'm really not in the market for more. The horse is well done, though. And yes, this is Asian, but again, it's a horse. It's got glass eyes. If it didn't have a chipped ear, I would take it. Wow. They have a lot of Satsuma, but it seems to be 20th century when the quality wasn't so good. There's some more Mudmen. This one's quite tall. Called Mudmen because of the clay they would use. It's very basic. This one has a China mark and would be 20th century, but it's broken right there, unfortunately. Here is an old fan in the frame. Those are probably ivory. No, they're bone, fortunately, so that is saleable still. Another handsome piece of furniture. Yeah, I think Carl picked really well out of the stuff that I'm seeing. This is a nice 1890s Empire little table with the claw feet at the bottom. I kind of like this tray. This might be fun in a barware display, and it looks older, but it's starting to lose some of its color at the bottom. That's too bad. This is reverse painted, and if it gets moisture underneath, it will start to separate. I never seem to have a reaction when I do this. Does that mean I'm alive? I feel like I'm going to find one of these that's in good shape that's worth buying. Here's another pair that are together. They seem like they have all of their hair. And there's the China mark. This is sometime around the Second World War. That's a possibility there. I look for color, I look for detail, and mainly condition. This guy's, whatever he was holding is gone. This one has a look. That might sell. In Seattle, we definitely have a customer for these. This one's just very simple, although not bad. I think I'm going to empty this box out and use it because I have a lot of stuff downstairs. This is part of a screen panel. This is hand painted on glass. If there was more to it, that would be nice. These really were not usually well taken care of because they were inexpensive new, and so I'm not surprised that condition is rough on some of these, and that's why the ones that are in good shape are collectible. Yep, he's got damage. So I think I found one good one. One or two. Nope, actually 3. They also have some of the old 1920s candy boxes. That one's pretty scraped. This one has the Taj Mahal. And I wonder if I could get the paint off, because that one's actually pretty neat. But it also seems like it's bent in a way where it won't shut properly, so that's out. Here's a handsome 1870s or 80s sideboard, but that's not for sale. Old botanical prints. Little critters. Seems to be rats and voles. And shrews. Not exactly the thing most people would have on their wall. Weasels. Those are actually kind of fun because they're so odd. Here's another Victorian era print of a windmill. This red cabinet from the 1920s is nice. It's a very specific style from the 20s where you have the cabinet up on legs rather than on the ground. Ooh, this guy looks like a curmudgeon. I believe he's some sort of an artist with that brush. These carved wood panels are something that sometimes are of interest to people. Let's see what else we have in terms of prints. That could be, yeah, that's another block print. And again, I think some of these are starting to sell. Wow, there sure is a lot of stuff in here. But you're right about the flavor. It's very decidedly towards Asian. The lacquer boxes. Ooh, Paxton cigarettes. Oh, but they're gone.
Little flower and bird cards.
Oh, they're probably cigarette cards.
No, they're a tea company.
Oh, really?
Just went through and
Oh, interesting.
Beautiful. Nice quality.
Yeah, butterflies. Yeah. Oh, those are sweet. Birds. Yeah. Yeah, they're neat. I used to have more collectors for these. Now they only want them if they're really, really, really old. And these are painted on silk too. Mostly very traditional. I like the one with the junk and the birds though. That's a little different. More medmen. They certainly have a lot of medmen. And the birds. Now this is a nice little piece with jeweling in it. Peking glass. This one's nice but dented.
Pedestals over here that he said he'd give a good price on.
Oh yeah?
One of them I like, I didn't know.
Oh, that's a game table in the middle there. I wasn't even noticing.
This one and that one there.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I like that stuff, and I feel like the marble top's starting to come back, but just starting. And I got one yesterday. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, this is great. I just bought one.
2 for $75.
Oh, 2 for $75 is a really good deal, actually. I mean, you know, I know that that's not a style of furniture that's popular here in Florida, but yeah, I mean, my gosh, what would you get for $35 at a store?
I mean,
you'd get like a pressboard thing that you put a cover over. Yeah, amazing. That's a great price. I like the drop front desk. I mean, this furniture definitely is like, you know, more suited to maybe an old house up north, but there's some really nice pieces here. Oh, the jade's cracked on these. That's too bad.
I noticed a bunch of, they were nice enough to set aside area, some cracked stuff.
Oh, that's good. Oh, you found some books.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I looked at this and then I didn't pick it up. I'm curious what you'll find out about that. Hermetic philosophy. Interesting.
Mystic Christianity.
Geisha girl from the 1930s, the little jar there. They have a lot of these Victorian clocks, which I like, but are not big sellers now. Let's see what they have down here, first of all. That's too bad that's damaged. That's a nice shape. The blue and white is probably dynastic era, but not an important piece. And then here's another pair of these figures like they had downstairs with the scholars. If they could be used as bookends, I'd be tempted to get them. In fact, maybe they can. One would sit this way, and one would sit the other way. I think they're really kind of interesting.
Really strong internet.
So just sort of have to take your chances. Yeah. Yeah, they're interesting enough looking titles. Why not? I've always sort of ignored religious books, but it turns out, like you found, that some of them are pretty good. Family Rose, but that's damaged. The bathroom doesn't really have anything in it, but it does have really great tile. Oh no, I'm wrong. The bathroom does have things in it, of course. This house is just full of stuff. More Satsuma. Nice old teapot. This is actually a style that sells because, again, it will work with modernism, but the top is cracked, unfortunately. Another piece of Satsuma. You know, some of these miniatures would probably sell. I'm just acquiring so much stuff right now that I'm being selective. Wingback chair, yeah, 1920s.
They won't damage.
Reupholstered. I don't actually hate the color. And then this is a Victorian magazine stamp, but again, it's cracked. These are old Paris vases, but they have stag faces on them. I am not used to seeing them like that. That's a little different. I wish there was more of a customer for these nowadays. These are really nice and old. I mean, these are 1870s or so, and this is an unusual form for them. I like the coat here. It's got a fur collar, but the rest is a poodle, like a lamb's wool, out of Chicago from the 50s. This is another thing that I might be able to sell a lot better in Spokane, Washington, where it's very cold in the winter, than we're going to sell down here. Let's see if the buttons are in decent shape. It looks like they just need a cleaning. Yeah, we'll ask about this. Why not? How do I look? Leave a comment, but make it nice.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, I'm on file with you. Yep. So 137 I owe you. That's great. Our neighbor in line did very well with some Fiesta and some Fire-King mugs and kitchen stuff. And I think we did pretty well too.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.